Whether you're just starting your YouTube channel or you're a YouTube veteran who's been slowly building your audience on YouTube, one of the questions that I get from time to time is whether or not you should take your personal YouTube channel and convert it to a brand channel or vice versa. And today I want to talk about kind of what the differences are between those two types of accounts and kind of like what the main focus for each of them is, as well as if you want to go through that process in converting your account from a personal to a brand channel, what that all looks like. So brand channels are basically a segregated YouTube channel away from that is not necessary that is attached to a Gmail or a Google a Google G Suite account. And basically, the main driver that YouTube was trying to create with this is giving you flexibility with how the channel gets managed, as well as what kind of permissions can be given to those particular channels. So I've kind of broken down brand channels can be looked at in a couple different ways. Oh, that's the wrong button. You've got basically there are two key aspects of each. So with brand channels, there are two layers of permissions that can be given on a brand channel. One is at the brand channel level, where you really only have three main roles that a channel can have. You can have the owner, a manager, and then a community manager. Now, you're probably scratching your head like, what is a community manager? And if you actually go and you look up what a community manager position is used for, it is primarily used for an old product called Google Plus, which just is no longer relevant. The other option with a brand channel is you can actually convert, rather than managing things from the brand channel level, you can actually manage everything within YouTube Studio. And when you make that switch, everything changes over to the same type of roles that you get with the personal account, but there's no longer an extra owner option. So basically, they're getting rid of the option to add additional ownership, where you're going to like change over who it actually like owns the channel, and basically just gives you all of the same roles that you would normally get with a personal channel. Now, when you are looking at a brand channel, the main flexibility that it's going to give you is the way that the manager role operates. On the personal side, when you have a manager, it's going to give them full access to the back end, where they can schedule videos, monetize things, see all the data. However, on the personal side, you don't get access to where you would go in to actually submit community posts and things that happen on the front end of YouTube. So because of that, if you're planning on building out your team where you're not necessarily doing all of the activities for your channel, you're only doing kind of more of the recording, and then have team manage everything else. Switching to a brand channel is going to make it a lot more flexible as far as getting the day-to-day done and going that route. Now, you can get a lot of the same aspects with a personal channel. The main benefit, or the main downside to a personal channel is, like I said, the team is a little bit more limited in what they can access and what they can do. So let me just pop in and I can kind of show you what that looks like. So on the personal side, this is just like my main Gmail that's associated with this particular email. When you go into the settings under permissions, this is where you can kind of see the different levels of access. You've got a manager, an editor, a limited editor, a subtitle editor, viewer, and a limited viewer. Now, basically, each of these are kind of defined here, where managers basically have full access to everything. There's pretty much there's nothing that a manager can't do, except for on the personal side, they can't necessarily go and post on the community tab. Editor, and you can kind of see the difference. So editors are basically the same thing as a manager. The only difference is they can't manage permissions or delete content. They can only add content into the channel. The editor limited basically has the same thing as the editor, except for they can't review revenue data. And then you can kind of get an idea for like how this ultimately looks. But If you then switch over to the way that on the brand channel side of things, when you look at the way that it looks a little bit differently. But basically, normally what would happen is under this user permission, there's a button where it'll basically give you one of two options. It'll give you there'll be a option up here where you can manage permissions at the brand channel level, and then there's a button just under that which says, hey, if you want to just manage everything in YouTube Studio, click this button, and it looks like this. So when you click on that, manage the brand channel with the Google account, it then flips over to this style. And as you can see, the only roles that can get added are an additional owner, a manager, communication manager. At least on the YouTube side of things, communication manager basically doesn't do anything, so it's not even really worth talking about. So really the only options are manager and owner. And that is kind of the main differential between brand channels. Now, one thing that I do want to quickly go over is like, what does the process look like in order to actually shift a channel from a personal channel over to a brand channel? So give me one sec. Let me switch some things around and I'll be right back. If you're looking to convert your personal channel into a brand channel, here's kind of the steps that you need to go through. On the left-hand side of your YouTube Studio, there's the settings button. And then next, you're going to click on channel. When you click on channel, you're going to click on advanced settings. Now, this is going to have a whole bunch of different things. You've got like the designation for whether or not you want to set it as made for kids. But as you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, you're going to see this button that says manage YouTube account. When you click on that, that is going to then bring you to this page where basically you get a couple different options. It's going to have kind of like your channel name, channel status, and features. It's going to have some back-end stuff. But the main thing in order to convert it to a brand channel is to go ahead and click on this View Advanced Settings. This advanced setting is basically going to give you, here's your user ID, your channel ID, whether or not you want this to be like the default when you log in. And then there's this Move Channel button. Now, when you click on this Move Channel button, it's going to basically say, it's going to have you log in. So we'll go ahead and just quickly log in here. It's probably going to do two-step verification if you've got that set up. So let me click this here real quick. And then once it brings you in here, if you've got any other brand channels, it'll basically give you the option of, it'll give you the option to like replace it. However, if you, let's see. Oh, that's right. If you have brand channels already set up, it basically is going to ask you if you want to use this channel to replace a previous brand channel. When you do that, it will then basically blow away anything that is associated with that channel. So my recommendation is to go ahead and, if you already have other brand channels that you manage, to go ahead and create the channel that you want to migrate that channel to, so that basically it's just going to take everything that's in that personal channel, move it to the brand channel, and then from there it's just a matter of everything will then be under that brand channel. Now, if you aren't sure how to create a brand channel, like you've got brand channels already under this particular account and you want to add another one where you're creating it from scratch, let me click on a couple buttons and I'll get you there too. So to create a brand channel that's already got, that'll basically add a separate channel that we can then migrate to. If you're on the YouTube account page like we were, you can just click on, rather than clicking on View Advanced Settings, you can just add or manage channels, and then that will bring you to a list of, here are all the channels that are associated. You can create a channel, add in your information, what you want the channel to be, understand that you're making a new Google account with its own settings, yada yada. Once you go through that process, it will then add that it'll add that channel to your list of channels that you manage, and then you can go through and click the migration process. Now, the migration process, you have to understand, if you already have a team working on a particular channel and you're trying to make this migration, the first thing that you're going to have to do is actually remove everybody who's associated with the channel. Obviously, if you are working on a broader team and there's, you might want to give people a heads up before they get the email saying that they've been removed from the channel. Last thing you want to do is freak out that everybody, people, I can't tell you the number of times I got an email saying, did somebody hack into the channel? No, it's not that somebody hacked into the channel. It's just you're going through the process of migrating. So sending out an email, generally a pretty good idea before you start removing people. And then the process is actually pretty straightforward. So YouTube will then transition all the content from your personal channel to the channel that you're migrating to. And from there, it should basically have all the same settings, everything that was previously set up back onto the new brand channel. And then from there, it's just a matter of re-adding in any team members associated with the channel. So that is kind of the process in order to transfer everything over to a brand channel. You go through a very similar process to convert it back. It's just a little bit more painstaking just because YouTube, it's typically more one way rather than the other. Most people, because a brand channel has all the functionality without any limitations that personal channels have, generally speaking, you see more people going from personal channels to brand channels rather than vice versa. So I hope this video was helpful in kind of giving you an idea of like what the differences between the two types of accounts are, and ultimately like whether or not you should make the transition or not. Me personally, with most of the channels that I work on, I generally recommend that they go ahead and convert to a brand channel just because there's a little bit more flexibility, and it gives you an easy way to kind of separate what activity is going on the YouTube channel versus not. The other thing is by having it be kind of this separate account, it makes it way easier if you're building out a channel that is a no-face channel or something where you're just building it for pure monetization reasons as opposed to like building out a specific audience. It gives you the ability that if you so choose to sell the channel in the future, it then gives you the option to make that transition pretty cleanly. It literally is just a matter of like adding in a new owner, removing yourself as an owner, and then the transfer has happened, and clean bill of power. So I hope this was insightful in giving you an idea of like what the difference between a personal and brand channel is, as well as some of the general benefits of either. If you got any questions, leave it down in the comments section below. Otherwise, if you are thinking about starting your own YouTube channel, I highly recommend you check out this video right here, where I go through kind of the questions and things that I think through before starting a channel. So click this video right here, and I will see you over there.